Hey guys, I'm Charlie. Welcome back to Questions with Charlie. Today my guest is Daddy.
Hey everybody, it's Jay with 10 Minutes of Hope, and we're ready for some more questions. Lay it on us, Charlie.
Okay, so the first one is, why did Peter deny Jesus?
Okay, so Peter's denial of Jesus was something that was an attempt from Satan, right, the devil, the evil one, to get Peter to turn away from God and to stop following Jesus, right? So Jesus told Peter it was going to happen at the Last Supper, the very last dinner that Peter had with Jesus, the last meal that Jesus had with all of the disciples, where they did I think it was their Passover feast, where Jesus washed the disciples' feet. He instituted communion. He also reminded the disciples that he was going to die. And when he told the disciples that one of them was going to betray him, and it was one of them at the table, one of the original 12, stop fidgeting, one of the original 12, they all went around the table saying, Lord, is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Not I, Lord. Well, when it got to Peter, Peter said that, Peter said that he would die before he betrayed Jesus. And Jesus said that Peter would deny him 3 times before the rooster crowed twice. And so, when after the supper, when they went to the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus, James, John, Peter, Peter kept falling asleep when Jesus went to pray, and Jesus would come back and wake him up. And Jesus told Peter specifically, you need to pray because your spirit is willing, but your body is weak. And Satan comes to sift you like flour, or sift you like wheat, something like that. What he was saying was Satan was trying to get Peter, was trying to make him leave Jesus. And Satan knew Peter was very important because Jesus very, very specifically said that Peter was the rock that Jesus was going to build the new church in. The church of Jesus was going to be established through Peter, which it did. Peter started the very first church. Okay? What's your next question?
What does instituted mean?
Started.
Okay.
Alright, I'm not looking.
You're gonna what?
So I'm not looking. Go ahead.
Where did the cross go after Jesus died on it?
Okay.
That's an interesting question, I know.
So, in today's Christianity, in today's world, the cross holds a very significant meaning, right? I mean, I'm wearing a cross right now, right? It's a reminder to me that the sacrifice that Jesus made right? But it's also to let other people around me know, hey, I'm a Christian. If you need me, I'm here for you, right? But back then, crucifixion, or hanging someone on a cross to die, nailing someone to the cross to die, was a fairly common Roman practice. Something the Romans did a lot to punish people. So if the Jews had killed Jesus, they would have stoned him to death, right? But under Roman law, the Jews weren't really allowed to kill Jesus, right? The Romans were, when they took over an area like Israel, they established their own laws in the land. They had their own governor, they established their own king, everything, right? And they did this everywhere they went. So one of the laws was that the Jews weren't allowed to kill people. If they wanted someone to die, they had to bring them to the Romans, okay? If it had been any other culture, any other people in charge at the time, Jesus wouldn't have died on a cross, right? It's just the way the Romans killed people, okay? That's how they executed, that's how they punished their criminals. So, Jesus being nailed to a cross at the time, just the physical cross itself had no significance whatsoever. It was not important. It was just a tree that they cut up to use, okay? So, after Jesus died on the cross, and one of the a Pharisee, one of the teachers of the law from the Sanhedrin, which was the Jewish government, they went and they reclaimed Jesus' body, and the priest made sure everyone was dead by before dark that Friday night. After they pulled his body off the cross, they would have just burned the cross. They would have just trashed it because it had no significant value to them. Now, there are people today that there are different groups of people that call themselves Christians, that they believe very strongly in the importance of things that touched Jesus, and so they try to collect things that touched Jesus. Everything, anything and everything, like the crown, the thorns that touched his head. If they had been around at that time, they would have collected the cross and kept it.
That's weird.
That is weird. The spear that the Roman soldiers used to pierce Jesus' side, people have looked for that specific thing for years. It actually has a name. It's called the Spear of Destiny.
That's weird.
People today believe if you hold the Spear of Destiny, you are invincible. And nothing can hurt you.
It hurt Jesus.
It hurt Jesus. But they believe because it touched Jesus, it makes them invincible. True story. So if different groups had been around back then, like I know of Catholics that believe in that, or did believe in that. I don't know if Catholics believe in that anymore, but they believed in the sanctification of a thing just because it touched Jesus.
What is
sanctification?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Sanctification is the process by making something holy or right in the eyes of God. Okay? So, people believe in ceremonies that make you holy. People believe in things that make you holy. People believe in a task or a chore that makes you holy, something you can do. It's okay, puppy, like a labor chore. Oh, hi, Frosty. Frosty's joining us today. Go ahead and let Frosty out.
Frosty, this was a bad idea, Daddy.
Alright, close the door. Alright. Puppy dog got excited, didn't want to sleep on the floor. Alright, what's your third question? We're at 10 minutes already.
This is the last question. This one should be kind of short. I think. Oh, I know what this one is. I memorized this one.
Okay.
Did Jesus have a best friend? Yes or no? Maybe. Maybe so.
Kind of.
Kind
Okay, so the Bible talks about two people specifically that Jesus spent a lot of time with, and that Jesus loved dearly. There's scripture in the Gospels at the Last Supper, like Jesus loved these two so much, they were always at his side. Where at the Last Supper, one of them was like leaning against Jesus' chest, like a child would. Like they were very, very close, right? And that was John. And John is the one that, he's the only one of the disciples that saw Jesus' crucifixion. He's the only one that didn't leave when Jesus was crucified. Now, he was at a distance, right? He wasn't right there with the Romans because the Romans were hunting Jesus' followers. He is the only one of the disciples. He wrote the book of Revelations and John 1, 2, and 3. And so he had, because of the time he spent with Jesus and because of his love for Jesus, God gave him a wisdom and foresight about the love of God and God's plan for the world in a way that he never really showed anybody else. And John's one of the people that saw Jesus and Moses and Elijah on the mountain before Jesus died. It was John and Peter. So, Jesus' best friend, if he had a best friend, it would be John and Peter.
What does pivot mean? What does pivot mean?
Did I say pivot?
Yes, you said pivot. I didn't even think. That's what I heard.
I don't remember. Pivot is not a word.
Oh.
So.
Well, you said it.
So, but another thing, Jesus was a man. He's called the Son of Man for a reason. He endured all of the same trials, temptations, feelings, everything that we experienced. But Jesus was very single focused, right? Jesus very much was about doing the work of God, right? Very, very much so. So, even though he was close to his disciples, when they did or said anything that didn't align with the will of God or the character of God, he would rebuke them. He once said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." Right? Because what Peter said was completely against the will of God. So, Jesus experienced the things that we experienced, but never once was Jesus worried about himself. So having a best friend, having a favorite color, having a favorite food, those kind of things never came into play with Jesus.
Makes sense.
Because he was always worried about God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Alright, y'all. Hope you enjoyed this week. We'll see you next month. Bye.
Bye.